Good morning. Happy July 4th to everybody. Independence Day, um, July 4th, 2025. This is Don Pelayo checking in with you guys. I'm off work today. I'm happy about that. Um, I had lunch with my daughter yesterday and got off work early yesterday. Our office closed at 12, and so I went and had lunch with my daughter, and she's growing up so fast, and I'm a little worried about her. I can't help but worry a little bit. I feel like she's kind of focused on the wrong things right now, and I feel like she really needs to. Right now is the time for her to be getting some education, getting some skills, upgrading herself so that she can earn a good living. And I feel like she's kind of acting a little lackadaisical about that. I'm a little bit concerned about it, but I've just got to keep on her about it. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the big beautiful bill that passed the House yesterday. It's been signed now. So how is this going to impact how is this going to impact you? Um, I was reading some of the highlights of the bill. I still want to go and do a little bit of a deeper dive into it a little bit, but so some of the main key points is that this is going to help. I'm looking at my own family, and it's like, well, this is going to help me in some ways. Many of you have heard about the no tax on tips. So if you earn tip income, and I about a little bit more than half of my income from DoorDash, I DoorDash in the evenings. I just do that part time. Comes from tips. And so now your tip income up to $25,000 will be tax free, no tax on tips, which that's pretty sweet for me. That's gonna help my tax situation when I have to file this coming year. Um, so that's one benefit for me. That's the main benefit that I see that I'm getting out of it. Oh, and also one other benefit that I may be getting from it is that interest that you pay on car loans. As long as the car, now this is the part that's a little bit confusing, is that as long as the car is an American built car, which, I have a Jeep. So I'm guessing my car qualifies. I don't know. Um, but so many of these cars that we have here in the United States now, they sometimes they are put together here in the United States, but a lot of parts are foreign and stuff. It's like, well, I don't know. Is it considered American made or not? Um, but I think that will help me in terms of the loan interest I pay on my car, which, that's sounding pretty good to me. So I also saw some benefits in this bill for my parents. Um, seniors over the age of 65, they're going to qualify for an additional $6,000 deduction. Um, so that'll help them out a little bit. Also, Social Security income is not going to be taxed, which my parents that hits them every year. My parents are still, even though they're both retired, have a pretty decent income because between the two of them, they have four pensions. Um, so my dad has three, my mom's got one, plus she has a 401k. So they've actually got a decent amount of income, plus they get their Social Security on top of that. So they've been paying a good bit in taxes. Well, now they're not going to have to pay taxes on their Social Security income, which will help. There are some income limitations to this. I don't think my parents have that high of an income, but to where they have to worry about that. But there are some income limitations where it starts to phase out. So that's something you'll need to deep dive a little bit more into. Talk to your tax professional about that, because I'm just looking at the highlights right now. I haven't deep dived into this at all. I've just kind of looked at the highlights of what's inside this bill and how it's going to benefit me and my family personally. Um, there are some other stipulations in this bill. If you have children, They've raised the tax credit that you get for children. So that doesn't benefit me really. I do have daughters, but they don't live with me, and I don't claim them on my taxes. So um, also, now you've probably heard a lot about the scare. I'm going to tell you what, man. There are some people that are just completely freaked out about this bill, how it's going to impact people in terms of government assistance and things like that. So I want to kind of go over that just a little bit. There's a lot of people online on the internet that are trying to scare the living daylights out of people over this. So Medicaid, I know a little bit about Medicaid because my youngest brother is on Medicaid. He's been autistic since birth, and I'm talking full blown autistic. He's not the type person that would ever be able to have like a regular job and function in society like that. He's mentally handicapped. So he gets Medicaid. For me, the way I feel about it, Medicaid it's intended for people like my brother that cannot take care of themselves. People that cannot take care of themselves, the elderly, people that are unable to work, they're disabled, they are, have real limitations, physical and mental limitations that prevent them from earning a living. And I'm talking about real ones, not, oh, I don't want to go to work, so I'm going to claim that I have some kind of mental thing going on where I don't have to work. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really diagnosed by a doctor, mental limitations, physical limitations. That is what Medicaid is supposed to be for. It also has been it helps people that are in just abject poverty, that just have nothing. But I feel like there's just been too much abuse of these systems. It's like it's a way for people not to have to work. That's not what it's for. So people need to go to work. If you're able-bodied and you can hold a job, you should be going to work. Period. End of story. It's like it's not for some reason there's just a big, I don't know how big the percentage of our population it is. There's just a lot of people in this country that want to do anything rather than work. It's like we all have to work. I've been working for a long time now. It's like I go to work every day. I show up. I'm there. I earn a living. I do the best I can. Americans really need to start trying to improve their skills. You don't have to go to a university. You don't have to you learn how to do something. Go to the local community college and learn how to pick up on some trades and little things like that. You can go and take evening classes and do some of that stuff. There's a lot of things that people could be doing, but I think Americans are just lazy. A lot of people just don't want to do it. They want to play on their phone. They want to do anything but work. And it's not reality. It's not reality. You're not going to be able to survive like that. Get off the phone, go and do something productive. That's we all need to be. I could take some of my own advice here. I was studying for the CFP exam, Certified Financial Planner exam, and I've kind of laid that to the side. I just got so many other things going on. It's kind of hard for me to, but I waste a lot of time too. I'm not gonna lie. I do. There's time that I could use to be doing that. It's hard to be on all the time. I do work a lot. It's like I'm working. I usually get into the office about 6:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. I'm there usually by 6:30, at the latest 7 o'clock, and I don't leave until 5. And then at 5 o'clock, I start door dashing, and I'm door dashing until about 8 o'clock. So from 6:30 in the morning to 8 o'clock, I'm working, and Americans just don't. It's like. And I work on weekends too, by the way. I DoorDash some on the weekends. So, that's what you have to do. I mean, it's just, I mean, unless you're like independently wealthy or something, or it's like we all have to work. Um, Americans just need, especially young people. If you are in your teens or in your early 20s, right now is the time. Right now is the time to be developing your skills. If you're interested in like computers and things like that, I mean, go and learn how to code. There's a lot of cybersecurity jobs out there. There's a lot of need for that. Healthcare workers. There's a lot of need for healthcare workers. We do have an aging population in this country. Go and learn how, go into a nursing program. There's a lot of demand for nurses, and nurses make good money. It's like, I mean, some of these nurses are, making close to $100,000 a year. Um, you'd have to learn about all the details of that, but yeah, go learn how to do some things that way. Um, the university education, I don't think the universities have the luster they once did. I think you have to be very serious minded. A lot of people almost look at college in America. They almost look at it as an extension of high school, and that's not what college is. They're going to college to go party and have fun and all this stupid nonsense. That's not what college is for. Not as expensive as it is these days. You have to be serious. You have to go into college. If you're wanting to go to college, to university, you need to have a plan. You need to know, you need to have a very good idea of what you want to do. I would encourage, especially you young people that might not come from wealth, start in a 2-year community college. Knock out your core basic courses. Get your English requirements. Get your math requirements, your basic math requirements. Get your sciences and all that stuff. Get that knocked out at a community college. Get as high a grades as you can there at the community college, and then apply to a 4-year university. And a lot of times you can get a lot of financial aid. Um, when I was in school, I went to a community college for the first 2 years, and I came out with like a 3.8 GPA, something like that. My first bachelor's degree was pretty much completely paid for because of grants, scholarships, yada yada yada. So there are ways to do this. Now, if you go to college, I don't think a bachelor's degree in this day and time is enough. You need to be thinking, okay, I need to go and get a master's or maybe even a doctorate. And those postgraduate degrees, it's going to probably require some debt. It's not as easy to get financing for those. But the reason you're doing it is so that you get a high income job. I would only recommend this for people that are interested in becoming either attorneys, doctors, engineers. You don't even need, I mean, a master's in accounting can help you and you're in an accounting career. You may want to consider it for an accounting degree because you do need more hours to get the CPA exam to do the CPA, and so that may help you get that done. If you can go and knock out your 4-year degree in accounting, maybe while you're doing the master's in accounting, you can be working under the tutelage of a CPA, get some experience working in a CPA office, because I think you have to have a year or two working under a CPA in order to use a CPA license. But then you go and take that CPA exam, and if you put in a solid 5 or 10 years of work, building your experience in accounting, by your mid 30s, you're going to be making really good money. You could be making really good money as a CPA. Um, Financial advisors, um, if you have really good people skills, if you're good talking to people, good sales skills, you may want to look into being a financial advisor. You can do that with just a bachelor's degree. If you get just a bachelor's degree in finance or business, you don't. It doesn't even have to be business oriented. They hire people with degrees in other fields. But you're gonna. It might be a little bit harder because you're gonna have to learn a little bit more about investments and insurance and things like that. But some of these advisors out here make a lot of money. Now it takes time. They tell you your first 5 years that you're working as a financial advisor, you're really going to have to grind, and you're really going to have to network with people. You're going to have to, network with the people that you know, in order to start building a client base. But you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year as a financial advisor. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, but you put a solid decade of work into building a practice as a financial advisor, you can get there. You could be making $200,000-$300,000 a year easy. Not easy. It's not easy. I shouldn't say easy. It's not easy, but it's just you put in the hard work, and you can reap some rewards there. Um, there are a lot of places in America to make money. That's what I want to try to what I want to try to encourage with young people is I feel like a lot of young people right now feel a little hopeless with the cost of living right now. Um, and that's what I would tell them is that it's just that you're going to have to put in a decade of hard work coming out of college. You don't necessarily need master's or doctorate degrees, but certainly it helps. But you just have to really take into consideration the debt that you're going to be taking on and what those payments are going to look like, because you're going to have to repay that debt, most likely. I have seen in the past, I worked for a law firm for a little while, and one of the benefits that the law firm gave to their new hire attorneys was the law firm was paying their student loan payments. So sometimes you can find employers that will do things like that. And so they were hiring attorneys that had big student loans, and the law firm was paying them. So, so um, you know, something to think about. It might be something to look for if you're in one of those type of fields. Um, anyway, I just want people to know that there is hope out there. There are good paying jobs where that you can support yourself and help support a family with. It's not like it used to be. It's really hard to support a family on one income. Although there are some jobs out there that you can do that, but you're probably going to have to delay getting married, and having kids for a while. It used to be, I mean, my parents, they got married. My mom was 19 when she got married. My dad was 24. They had me a year later. So my mom was 20. My dad was 25 when they had me. Um, I don't know if that's as feasible today as it was back in the 1970s. um, Today, I think you're probably going to start looking at having families start having kids probably in your early to mid 30s. You're going to have to put in 5 to 10 years of hard work getting yourself ramped up in your career to where you can earn enough money to help support that family. Um, anyway, all of this has been kind of on my mind. I started talking about the big beautiful bill, but the main thing that I see out of this bill, there are a lot of benefits. The one worry I have about the bill is the deficits that we've been running. It's they're talking about it could potentially add an extra 300 billion a year to our deficit, which I'm not wild about. Being conservative, I feel like we need to go the other way. We need to start seeing that deficit shrink, and I think that Trump is working on that. One of the things, people have been talking about these tariffs for a while. Well, what do the tariffs do? Tariffs make imports more expensive. They're more expensive to buy. So it makes imports more expensive. It makes American made products more cost competitive with the imports. My hope is that we start seeing our trade imbalance shrink. We start seeing our deficits shrink. And hopefully, maybe by the end of Trump's term, we're near a balanced budget. I would really like to see at least a balanced budget where we're not adding to the debt. I feel like the Republicans could get that done in the next 4 years, but Congress has got to show some, they got to make it a priority in Congress. And I just don't feel like they're making it a priority. Um, I'm not, I'm not even really expecting at this point for us to begin paying off debt. I would just like to see us get to a point where that the accumulation of the debt slows down. We got to slow the accumulation of debt down and get a more robust growth rate going with our economy. But we're going to see how that all plays out. I'm trying to be optimistic because I do want my kids to grow up in a place where they're going to have some opportunities and not be struggling their whole lives, and I think right now a lot of the young people, the Gen Z and Gen Alpha people are feeling a little frustrated and a little bit discouraged. And there is hope. I think I just want them to all know that. I think that there will be some benefits coming out of this bill for everyone. So I'm going to be going over to my parents' house here in a little bit. We're going to do our little cookout meal and all of that kind of thing for the 4th of July. I am probably going to try to DoorDash this evening, most likely, and trying to make that money, right? So it helps. The DoorDash income does help. I'm paying. I'm because I'm putting more miles on my car. I throw a little bit more money at the car payment. I'm also trying to save a good chunk of that money every week. So it helps. Right now we all got to do what we got to do, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully I might get a bonus this month. But it's like our work at my primary job has been a little bit slower this year, so I don't know where we are in terms of our numbers for bonuses. But I get paid not based on my own personal metrics, but I it's basically if the wealth management team that I work for, if we hit our goals as a team, they pay out bonuses. If we don't get a bonus. But I'm hoping I get a bonus this month. We'll see. It's already claimed. I'm not going on any shopping sprees or anything. It's already claimed. If I get it, I'll probably be giving it to my daughter. I'm still trying to get her money for this year that I promised her. So my oldest daughter, I told her that I was going to give her $5,000 this year for her birthday. I've already given her 2,500 of it, so she's already gotten half of it. I want to get the other. I want to get her the other half of it, and that bonus money would help towards that. So I've already got some of it saved, but that bonus would help get me to the finish line, getting her the rest of it. So anyway, it was something I wanted to do for her 21st birthday. I wanted to give her a good chunk of money because she's becoming an adult now, and I wanted her to have some savings. I wanted her to not feel stressed. I was really pleasantly surprised. I talked to her yesterday, and she still has most of the $2,500 I gave her. She did spend a little bit. Her family is going on a trip to Pennsylvania the end of this month, and she did spend a little bit for that trip, but she still has almost all of the money that I gave her. So I'm happy about that. I was happy to hear that. I was like, you didn't go and blow it all, did you? It's like, but yeah, so that made me feel good that she still has that savings there. Anyway, you guys have a great day. I'm going to get going. This is Don Palayo checking out.